One scene. One scene, it was all that it took to make Indoor Fish one of the most iconic abilities in Hunter x Hunter, and today we are going to uncover his original user. Hey guys, it's Ryugo here, and today I'm going to prove once and for all that Hunter x Hunter YouTubers have mastered the art of creating content out of thin air by talking about one of the nichest subjects someone could even dream about. And that is the original user of Indoor Fish, one of Crollo Lucifer's most iconic abilities. So I will give you a description of the original Nen user, but I will also tell you the other ability that was used alongside Indoor Fish, but also I will reveal a secret and tell you how Crollo stole the technique in the first place. So without further ado, let's begin uncovering this mystery. But how random YouTuber, I hear you say. Well, despite only having one scene to show off, if we apply various things that we know about Nen in general, such as personality traits, Nen types, and such, we can come up with what I believe is a pretty close depiction of what the original user intended. Without further ado, let's start this dissection.
This is an indoor fish. A Nen fish that can only live in enclosed spaces. A carnivore that prefers human flesh. You don't bleed or feel pain as you're eaten. You can't die until the Nen fish disappears.
This is everything we know, but also everything we need to know, as we will doing reverse engineering to get a picture of what the original user could possibly intend. First, we need to establish a few key points. Was the original user's Nen affinity? And to answer that, we need to ask another question. Are the fish conjured or emitted? As far as my research goes, it was never confirmed to be either one. To answer this question, I'm going with conjuration, because of one aspect. The limitation that it can only exist inside a closed space seems best suited for a conjurer, because the fish need to only exist in a closed space, and as we know, conjured objects can't exist away from their users, with emission of course. If they were emitted, then there wouldn't be a reason for them to exist only inside a closed space. So for this video, I'm assuming that the original user was a conjurer. So by going with Hisoka's personality test, he's high-strung and nervous, which brings us to the next point. Why that limitation in specific? Didn't you say it was because he was a conjurer? Well, yes, but there are other limitations that you could place on the ability that aren't as restrictive as a closed space room. Think about it for a second. It's such a bonkers limitation that if you could break a wall or open a window, that wouldn't be a closed space anymore, and as such, you would have basically won by destroying the fish. I only see two possible answers for this. Either 1. He had the power to create an enclosed room, which would make sense if he was a conjurer like I said. But this would most likely be a separate Hatsu, or maybe Crollo just never used it, I don't know. Or he would be constantly in a closed space, like his job would require him to constantly be in a closed space, like he would be in a protecting a place, just like a ruin, a private mansion, or even a bank. I believe that the hunter who created this ability, assuming he had already a basic understanding of Nen, already knew about his job or type of jobs he was going to undertake, and as such created an ability that would be better suited for closed spaces, which led me to believe he was a guard of sorts. Like maybe once you're trapped inside, he can conjure dozens of thousands of Nen beasts and suddenly you're trapped with a lot of hungry fish, and you, dear viewer, look like quite a snack. Side note, this focus on closed spaces lends me to believe that he was a very introvert person. Food for thought. Lastly, there is still one aspect that I want to focus on, of which might reveal that the user might possibly be a genius strategist. And that is, Indoor Fish has a very dark aspect to it, being that the victims are only damaged once the fish disappears. Even if you lose your whole arm, you just won't feel it, and even if he eats half of your head, you still won't die until the fish disappear. And I ask, why? Why would someone make their enemy immune to pain until the ability is deactivated? I have one theory for this. It works as a deterrent. Once you lose your arm, you're actually encouraged to keep the fishes alive for the chance of getting your body back, bringing me to the last possible ability. Remember how I said that the user was most likely a conjurer? Well, what if he gains the ability to reconstruct or give back the parts that the fishes ate? It means that once you lost an important part, you're more than incentivized to keep the fishes alive as long as possible, and if the only person who can heal you back is the one you're trying to steal, then he can simply make you leave in return of you not coming back ever. Now imagine this scenario. You're a hunter and you're tasked with protecting an underground treasure. This treasure rests inside a very confined space, and so you build your ability to utilize that to your advantage. Once your enemies are trapped, they are at your mercy and your little fishes. Everything seems great, and you protect the treasure from anyone trying to steal it, until one day the treasure you're protecting becomes the target of a certain gang of thieves, and as they say, the rest is history. And that was Indoor Fish original user, an introverted conjurer that created various Hatsu in order to protect a treasure. I know all of these were assumptions, but that's the beauty of Nan. Through its limitations and applications, we can create a very accurate description of what the user intended. But what do you think? Maybe he was an emitter and all of this was wrong, so I would love to read your opinions in the comments below. And if you like this type of content, then I'm sure you would love to know about the Nen beasts we made for Morana. And next week, we are going to put the strongest character in the series against the character with the most potential, so subscribe so you don't miss out. Until then, goodbye everybody, thanks you for watching.